States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Comments from the assembly? Okay. Joan, can we add to the next meeting to discuss regarding changing possibly the date from Tuesdays to Mondays or Wednesdays? Did anyone have comments on that before we?
Yes.
You know, I just kind of, with the engineer having issues, I think it's a good idea to look into it.
Minutes of the previous meeting, June 13th.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
June
Aye.
28th, June 28th workshop.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Treasurer's report. So, Joan, the ARPA funds, do we have where we stand with that, dates and amounts?
They're saying this Friday we might get a deposit, but it's not gonna be the full amount. That apparently the state isn't gonna release everything this Friday, but some.
Okay, what about what we have, do we have any left?
Oh, yes,
to
we
use?
do. We have $28,748.
By when?
That
When do we have
was-
to use that by?
Oh, 2026.
20, okay.
We have to allocate it for something by 2024.
Okay,
I
so
thought-
2024, we need to allocate it.
Correct.
Where did July come in? Do we have to have something by July?
More funds are coming in. They call it tranche 2. And then the municipalities that didn't apply for it, their funds are gonna be divvied up. So right now the state's trying to figure out how much more we're all gonna get, those of us who applied. I think Diana might be on the line. Diana, are you there?
I am, I'm here.
Okay.
If everybody has their treasurer's report in front of them, you'll see, couple of things I wanted to bring to the attention is, we had our last, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Our last, Truist, check that was supposed to be the end for Truist, with the, retirement, it was lost in the mail, so we replaced it with another check, and that one still has not cashed either. I don't know if you've talked to them, Joan. Do you know if they've received it?
Yes, shortly ago today, the bank told me, Truist told me they did get it, so it won't clear for a couple of days. So by Monday, you should see that it cleared.
Okay, and then we'll make the payment for the new IRA, new retirement fund.
Correct.
Just did a little research also, just to look at. Of course, I don't have any records from last year, but I was able to go into the bank and look and see what your balances were, and we got a deposit yesterday. Joan put a deposit in the bank for $26,000, which is not recorded in your statement for your treasurer's report for today. So our total for the savings account is $467,488. Last year at this time, I looked into the bank account and we had $221,153. So we have that. I don't even know what to say. I don't know why I had a loss of words. It's been a long day. $246,335 is what we have more than we had last year. Just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of where we are from last year to this year. Since I don't really have the figures to compare, I'm sure I can look at the old treasurer's reports, which I'll need to use for the budget for next year or for this coming year anyway. But so that's that. I need to transfer $90,000 to meet the bills. We also had $17,000 come in, and $6,200 will be deposited tomorrow for earned income tax into the general fund checking account. So that's why we only need to transfer over 90,000.
I would think the casino money is what,
Right, boosted.
Oh, yeah, and that and ARPA. You know, although maybe you wouldn't have spent the money if it wasn't for ARPA, but that helped as well.
I'll make a motion to transfer the 90,000.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wanna approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the PP&L bills. You wanna do that ACH? Does anyone have a problem?
Yes, I would like to. I do that with every other township that I work with now. As many ACH transfers as possible I've been starting to do. And it actually really is more secure. Like, for instance, with our Truist check, we know that got lost. I had a client, it's not a municipality, but it's a commercial business, where their mail got stolen, outgoing mail, and those checks got, they took them and photoshopped them, whatever it's called, and they were able to make deposits with their phones into their checking account, so they embezzled money from one of my clients. So, you know, we all know it's getting more and more scary out there as far as, you know, money going in and money coming in and money going out. So I would like to be able to do as much as we possibly can ACH.
Anybody wanna make a motion to do that?
What is ACH?
Just electronic.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a motion?
But to pay the PP&L dog.
To pay them electronically.
Yeah, okay, I'm second it.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Expense list.
Isn't everything done electronically, or?
No, we send all those checks out, so she wants to try to shift it as much, like PP&L is every month.
Right.
Might as well
Is
just
that
have
like
it
an
direct.
automatic draft out of the account, or we still have to?
when the bill comes in, I'll forward it to Diana, and
And
then
then she'll
through the
pay.
bank account, she'll have it electronically paid.
I think we should do that with as many as we can.
That's what she wants to do.
Bring it to
So
you
just
when,
bring them to us and she comes across them.
Well, especially like utilities, I mean, that's.
Right, that's a given.
If you put that on automatic, they're just going to take the money before you even get to see the bill.
It's not on automatic, she's gonna
She's
pay
gonna
it.
do it
It's just
every
gonna
month.
be paid each month, she's gonna do it.
She's gonna do it
Yes,
each month,
yes, she'll
okay.
submit it.
Okay.
Expense list.
I make a motion to pay the expense list.
You're starting to get carnival invoices in that, we'll still wait on some, I think. Okay. I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
3001 and 3007 Main Street subdivision, PC recommendations for approval.
Do that in the absence of the engineer. I've circulated to you a decision for 3001 and 3007 Main Street subdivision. Are they here, applicant? Oh, yes, sir. I don't want to speak for your application if you wanted to address the board on what it is. I will tell the board that PC recommended approval of this minor subdivision. It just deals with a lot line change. Well, change, but it turns 2 lots into 3 lots. There's no improvements proposed. It's just creating a new 3rd lot. So as a result, the decision itself is fairly straightforward. It's granting approval of the minor subdivision to create the third lot. It contains your standard conditions of approval that, of course, that they comply with all township ordinances, that they execute sidewalk and curbing deferral agreement. That was the subject of discussion at the PC on whether they require sidewalk and curbing at this point in time, but since there's no improvements proposed at this point, the PC recommended waiver or deferral of sidewalks and curbs until such point in time that the township would otherwise require it. I think the feeling was when they come time to construct an actual home on the property. Third condition would be that they comply with the township consultant's review letters, secure all necessary third-party agency approvals, which is a standard condition on all plan approvals, that they reimburse you all of your consultant review fees that were incurred, and then the plan be recorded within 90 days of approval. So there's really nothing more than that. This is because there's no improvements, there's no financial security required, there's no development agreements, financial security agreements, stormwater management agreements, none of that. Is there anything?
Pretty much summed it up.
Anything else?
Where's this located? So, 3001 to 3007 Main Street. I'm just trying to get it.
Yeah, the new lot is at the corner of North and Walnut, just a block in off of Main.
Remember where the Red Barn used to be? Across from the alley, next to the private property.
With its own property.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's on the corner there.
No, it's just a little property.
Right next to the chiropractor's office.
So you need approval.
Yes, we did a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
A second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye. You must go to the beach.
He fell asleep.
Fritz, you want to chime in?
I'm in, I think.
We had a motion and a second to approve the 3001 to 3007 Main Street subdivision recommendations.
Aye.
Okay. Morgantown Road Commercial Development PC recommendations.
Yes, we have developer here also. This one's a little more significant, although I think they've been in front of the board before. So you're probably familiar with what's proposed there at the Turnpike interchange. They also received Planning Commission recommended approval, not only for the preliminary plan, but also for, deferrals of, partial deferral of curbing and sidewalk. They do plan to put some sidewalk along Morgantown Road, just not the entire stretch. And then one waiver of basins to allow 3-to-1 basin sloping, which is a standard waiver that you typically grant almost in every project. So I prepared the decision based on the PC recommendations. The decision's going to grant, like I said, grant preliminary plan approval. That means they will be back for final plan approval at a later date. And grant the deferral and waivers. Your conditions on plan approval will be mostly all standard. For example, complying with all township ordinances, executing and recording a sidewalk and curbing deferral agreement, complying with professional consultant review letters and all comments. I pointed out a couple things, but I think both of these things have already been satisfied. If they haven't, they will be. One, eliminating setback violations by consolidating two parcels owned by the Turnpike. It's either been done or it will be done, is my understanding. Eliminating an encroachment on the southernmost property line on parcel owned by St. Thomas Church, which I understand they're either acquiring or have already acquired property from the church to address that.
Are you the builder or are you the owner?
The owner
Okay.
and the builder.
Owner, builder, Audubon, land development.
What about the access for us to get into the carnal ground?
Let's address that.
we're okay with that. I'm not sure what it is exactly you're looking for, but
Well, there used to be a road there going into the carnival grounds.
I kind of thought there might have been.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was abandoned, but I guess, I knew it was abandoned, but I didn't think it was totally wiped out of the drawing. But,
I think it went back into the hands of St. Thomas, so when you acquired that, you're okay with a 20-foot wide easement for us to access
Sure.
that? Because somewhere down the road, we may want to do something maintenance-wise with a pole building back in there.
Yeah, we're fine. That's fine.
Okay. So we'll incorporate that into a condition, and I do have something sketched out. We'll get there in a minute. There was a loading area issue that we worked with your zoning officer on, so there's a condition that be addressed, and I think they have at least informally presented plans that satisfy that condition. So that'll be formalized as we go forward in the final plan. Compliance with third-party agency approvals, that's standard. Here, that would include PennDOT HOP permits, because we're dealing with a state highway. The plans here do require installation of traffic control facilities and/or stormwater control facilities and other improvements within the PennDOT right-of-way. PennDOT's going to require the township apply as the permittee for those improvements. PennDOT's going to require and look to the township to maintain those improvements. We, as the township, then look to the developer to indemnify us and maintain those, so it's not at your cost, but it's at the developer's cost. So condition number 7 requires a maintenance agreement be executed with the developer, so that the developer has the obligation to maintain any facilities within the PennDOT right-of-way. Include light, which would include the light. We address that in condition number 8. In the decision, there is already a traffic signal maintenance agreement from the 1980s. It's dated. We will update that in today's language. The traffic signal itself will be upgraded.
Yes.
So it makes sense to upgrade the agreement. And so there'll be an updated agreement for the traffic light as well. So that's condition number 8. Condition number 9 deals with that easement or access way, what you will, and as I envision it, this would run along the southeast section of the property along the church to access the ball fields to the rear. From Morgantown Road to the ball fields. And I just have in the condition that the easement or right-of-way shall be in form and substance acceptable to the township and recorded in the final plan when it's released for recording. So we have to deal with that in the final plan. It sounds like they're acceptable to that.
Yeah, my only question would be is, just want to make sure that no one kind of messes with the church's
Well, we've
graves and
been talking about possibly putting a gate across. I mean, it's not gonna be used on a regular basis, it's just gonna be on a time-to-time basis, so.
Okay.
Well, your point is that there's cemetery.
Yeah, I just don't want to be.
We don't want to interfere with that, and we don't want to interfere with your development either, so.
Yeah, we can come up with something, whether it be a fence or whatever.
Okay.
Are we paying for this? Our township is paying for all this,
For what?
for all these, upgrades?
No.
Change.
No, this is on him. We're just looking to try to get an access road to get our
Yeah, and
property.
they're paying for it, right?
Well, they're
Or do
actually,
we have to pay
they're
for
working
it?
with us to let us use the right of way. So that's, I don't understand.
It's
what-
already there.
It's there.
It's already there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just been abandoned, and I wanna make sure
Yeah.
that we can access it, that's
Okay.
all.
So the easement would be unimproved.
Yes.
It would be whatever's there naturally.
Yes.
Just giving us permission to use it.
Who's paying for the fence?
We haven't even gotten there yet, so there's already a fence there. There's already a road there with a fence. It's just overgrown, you can't even see it. I might, include that in the condition before you sign it, so we're clear that it's unapproved.
But if you would like to help us make that a little bit better, you're welcome to do that.
Never know, Santa Claus might come early.
10 reiterates the status requirement that within 1 year of preliminary plan approval, they've got to apply for final plan. It's subject to board extensions. That just tracks your existing outlook, so you're not imposing some sort of new condition. It serves just essentially as a reminder that they can't just go away for 10 years and then come back. Within a year, we expect an application for final plan approval. because there are improvements associated with this plan. Paragraphs 11, 12 deal with development agreement, financial security that needs to be posted, reimbursement of review fees that are standard. And so that would be the decision. Any questions?
Don't sound good.
Do you have any potential compliance yet for the properties?
Someone's coming down.
I don't get involved with that. My job is to get the plans approved through the different municipalities. And I know they've talked to a number of different people, so probably will be someone shortly.
So for the public's knowledge, it's going to be roughly 100,000 square foot distribution / warehouse, and a 9,000 square foot retail building, and a 3,200 square foot roughly restaurant, but the tenants are not known.
I'll make a motion for approval of preliminary land development.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Zimmerman, 179 Swamp Road waiver request.
Mr. Zimmerman's back.
Did you have any additional questions for him, or?
We just want to make sure you're on the up and up. I mean, you got to understand the concerns we get from our residents about pump emails, so be it. You will be regulated, correct, by the state? The state will regulate you?
Yes, we are inspected and regulated, we meet all the regulations. It's,
Who comes to inspect it right now?
the state dog law ordinance. And I don't remember last one, Christine's the first one, twice a year, and we don't meet their requirements, they will shut it down that they meet all their regulations and requirements. Pennsylvania is one of the states with the highest animal welfare or dog welfare laws in the United States.
I just want to make sure that dogs are being treated nice.
Yeah, I understand your concern. I know you go online, you Google puppy mills, you're gonna see dogs in cages, and it's terrible. That's not how it should be. But these are not in
It's the phone
cages.
calls and emails and text messages that we all receive about it when they hear about it, so that's kind of why we bring up what we bring up.
Yeah, I
It's a
understand.
concerned residents without a doubt.
Yeah.
You have all your stuff though, you did stormwater management plan, you applied for all that different stuff, right? He's got all his stuff, he's just looking for a waiver on the land development?
Yes, yes. And so the public's aware, the board asked for the township engineer and zoning officer to chime in on whether the land development application should be waived. Both the zoning officer and engineer recommended that it be waived because they can perform their reviews adequately through the building permit application process, which is all pending. The stormwater plan has been submitted and is under review. So they are both satisfied that as long as that process is going forward, that the land development plan application is not necessary in this case.
So based off what our engineer and the code enforcer said, I will approve the waiver for the land development process. I'll make a motion.
I second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Nobody watching you.
I understand your
I
concern.
know you invited us to come up to see the place, I would like to do that,
Yeah.
okay? So we'll have to set some time up.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
2022 Freightliner financing, ratify signed agreement.
Let me explain this. If you recall, a couple of months ago now, maybe longer than a couple of months, you approved an estimate both for the acquisition of the Freightliner plus the financing of the Freightliner. You authorized Keith to go ahead and sign. Well, the financing company has now generated all the requisite paperwork. I think Keith gone ahead and signed everything. But since we now have all the finalized paperwork, I think it's good that you take a look at it and ratify what Keith has signed, just for the public record. You've already approved it ahead of time, but now that you have it in hand, purchase agreement. So it does not qualify for debt, as that term is defined under the Local Government Debt Act. So you don't need any pre-approvals from the state for assuming debt, because it is a lease purchase agreement. That's what we look at. That's the big thing that we look at when we respect it. And when we have these kinds of purchases. Everything else in the agreement itself is what you would expect to see in an agreement from a bank. You're obligated to make all the payments. If you don't, you default, and all of the ramifications that would come from a default as you could expect.
And Keith, we now have the truck in our possession.
Once I'm Cook's getting the plow final fit adjusted.
You need a motion to approve this?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve it.
Motion. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Complication project. Any updates, or are we, where?
Pretty much, I sent them the ordinances that they said they didn't get a copy of, and so the first thing in your packet there should be the, table of contents. That'll be the format of the codification that the public will see. I think with Eric's help, there's the legislation section that.
I need to read a couple of those. I need to get in here to read, like the airport. There's an airport zoning chapter they have separate from zoning that I think should probably be combined, but I need to come in and read them both to make sure. And I think there might be one other instance like that.
So this is just an update?
We're getting close,
Okay.
so the legislation part is pretty much it, so I can bring it back to you when we have all the information filled in. We'll get an extension, they're real good about it, so.
Okay. Computer security upgrade, installation costs for approval.
So the multi-factor authentication, there is a cost for, I guess it's software that's needed. So the board already approved a monthly fee of $3 per user. Then they sent me the estimate for the total project.
So the setup software, all that is $1,045.
Yeah, and then recurring expenses, they say
Is that a month?
No, that would be the initial, the $1485, just for setting it up and getting it implemented. And then $6175 would be our monthly for everyone to have access to that security.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get any further on the microphones for people? We were talking about it a few months ago. You guys, I mean, for you guys. No?
We have that.
The owl, so it.
No, I mean for you guys, so we can hear better? No?
We have the wireless
this
now.
mic right here. But did we just shut it down because it's making noise, so?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we talked about it.
Yeah, we purchased that.
We purchased that.
So that's it,
That's
okay.
it. But we got, something was going on, it was something.
Yeah,
So.
okay.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve.
Now, you know this has your address on here, not the township's address, right?
Oh, actually, that's Lancaster County's address, so I'll
Yeah,
have
they
to
need to
fix
update that.
Yeah, they're with Links too, so.
Okay, well.
I mean, they can bill them for it.
Yeah, no, I'll be sure they
Maybe not.
fix that.
Yeah, well, that's not all right, but.
We lost the manager that we used to have, Mark Cairo, so they have a new manager in there now, so they're going through a transition, so I'll be sure they know that that's a mistake.
So Chief thinks this is good enough for now until we
Yes.
get further direction on what, if this is not enough.
And this works with all your stuff too.
Right. This will keep us even more compliant with the
Yeah,
state.
I mean, this is widely used, and we use it now for other stuff.
We use it already for a couple other of our softwares.
Have a motion,
I make a motion as long as you change the address.
have a second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Supervisor's computer upgrades, quote.
Okay, so they gave me a quote for 4 new tablets, plus the keyboard, and then everyone's gonna get a wireless mouse, so that total is $7,207. And we can use the rescue funds be okay with that.
This is
That's
one
almost
here, this is
cheaper
one
than
here, and
what we paid for
I'm not a
these, right?
computer geek, but I'm learning, I like it, so I'm not.
He said he saved us a couple
Yeah.
$100 per, actually cheaper than, it's the same thing, but I guess they have a special going on, so we saved $200 per tablet, you know, which, that's about $800.
Now, the keyboard for this is still in back order.
He said August.
August now? Since April, right?
So how long to get these in if we order them?
I think he said they're in stock. So as soon as you approve this, I'll go in and approve the quote, and it should be a matter of a week or so, they'll call me and set up installation, so it's just like what Paul Senior went through, it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy
we
with
need to do something, cause these computers.
Yeah, I didn't have one for like 2 months.
Yeah, fine, well, I'll make the motion on that.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 22-41, setting mileage reimbursement rate. We already discussed this, now it's in form of a motion. We have a motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Personnel manual updates. Chris, is this something you want to go over while you're on the speaker, or do you want to put this for the workshop?
We can put it to the workshop. It's really not a lot to it. It's, everything's broken down. Joan highlighted the things that we're proposing. But if you really want to sit and discuss it, we can do it at the workshop. That's up to you guys.
You guys want, okay, we're gonna push that to workshop.
Yeah, sounds good.
Walking trail tree damage report.
I emailed you all this afternoon what I received from a homeowner. Fence that was damaged. I feel like maybe Terry wants to go out and look at things, because that's a new project they've been working on out there. So he had mentioned to me that he hasn't gone through any inspections yet, so I don't really know where things stand with the fence.
Okay, so Terry's gonna go out and do an inspection?
I mean, the fence was already repaired, the owner repaired it, he called me today, the owner did.
Okay.
Sent me the information I emailed to the board. And
Well,
so
where's the
what seems
tree?
to be the problem with it?
he's got a permit for the pool project, but there's no zoning permit that was paid for that is usually issued for fences. So I think the owner is thinking the fence was a part of the pool plan, so I need to get with Terry and confirm how does that work with the pool project.
He and I stopped and talked to him this afternoon, and he said that the pool guy was supposed to take care of that with every in-ground pool per code is supposed to have a fence, so that should have went hand in hand, so.
They fenced the entire backyard. The backyard by and large is a stormwater retention facility. So the question becomes whether you were gonna allow them to enclose the entire yard.
But it's their property. It's their property, and their neighbor had a fence up for 15 years, which water doesn't pass through that, so how can I sit there and get on his case and not the other guys?
Those are the questions that were posed to Terry, so that's.
Okay, so right now, we need to find out if they had the proper permits, and then what?
Just wanna be sure that we come to the board with the facts, so that
Okay.
before we approve paying for something that we know everything's.
Because he wasn't making a big stink out of us paying for the fence.
He wasn't even actually asking for that, he said, so.
He wasn't asking for the fence to be.
He sent an invoice, so.
He sent the damages, but he said he wasn't expecting us to pay for anything. And we talked to him 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
Where is this in
Where's the
tree now?
township's tree? It's a township's tree. It's township open space, fell across the walking trail and damaged the tree.
Damaged the fence.
Fence.
Mill Street. Mill Street.
So where do we end up with policy for stuff, whether we pay?
I mean, is that something we could put through our insurance anyway?
That's not something we wanna put.
You may not want to, given the
No, I mean,
costs.
that's the
Probably
second, that's
below
the
your
second one that
deductible,
happened.
right? Is it-
Right,
is it
so
deductible?
don't put it below your deductible, you don't want it against you.
I will tell you that the zoning issue is completely separate from whether you damage somebody's property.
Right,
It's not like you
right.
get a free pass, just because he's maybe in violation of the zoning.
Right.
I think we should check, I know, let's put a fence around the pool because neighbors going in.
Yep.
But to say, it's still fenced in and kids can't get in there, okay, but to say how big the fence could be.
Is it just the perimeter of the pool or?
It don't say that, does it? That's what he's trying to say.
Well, usually from a zoning, what Terry would do would check to make sure the fence isn't violating setbacks, so it's not too close to the property boundary.
And did Terry do that?
He's in the process.
I think that's
of doing
what,
that.
that's what we
Great.
would do.
When we wait to see what he has to say.
But then the one question I've had numerous times is that how does our code enforcement know where the property lines are to say that it's on their property or not? I mean, I can fill out a permit and I can draw something on, I can draw a diagram on that paper and say, here you go. Doesn't necessarily mean it's on my property.
But there's pins out there, I mean, they have to.
Well, the newer developments, most of them have markers, but some of the older developments not so, you know, or older houses don't have that.
See, I thought the older ones had actually buried pins, you know, those heavy pins that can't be moved.
But like when it come to Mill Stream Development, I recall that, so when Burke's Homes presented that to the township, it was all open space, and the township's like, no, we don't want the open space, so they just extended the property lines through the open space, which involves what Keith's saying, the swales and the basins. So now all that stuff is on the homeowner's property now, it's all part of it. So we run into the issue of those people not maintaining this stuff, but this guy has a swing set in it, he's got but it's been there for 10 years,
So are they
15
supposed
years.
to maintain it?
He mows it, he keeps it maintained.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he does, I mean, what the fence looks nice down
Yeah,
there.
it looks good. I mean,
Okay, so you're giving us an update that Terry's checking in to make sure the permits were, next is we have a bill here, so damaged property, I mean, it was our tree. So we're looking for a motion to approve that invoice? Or do we need to do research to make sure, well, I assume he's gonna
Well,
match it,
I'm
it's
saying
a nice fence.
if we damage the fence, I mean, it's $8.95, was it? I say we just reimburse him for it.
Well, we wait to Terry to find out if the fence is there legally.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It
We
doesn't matter.
damaged his property. It was
Our
a
tree, a tree from our property
If
damages.
the fence was, okay.
Right, I mean, if it wasn't there legally, then the fence wouldn't have got damaged.
But the fence wouldn't have got
It wasn't
damaged,
legal.
right?
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, but he's violating the setback and it should have been 15 feet further away.
I don't think that would have mattered, the tree would have.
Well, what is that?
Right, so,
So if the insurance company pays for it, then, but you're saying that our deductible is more
yeah,
than
it's
that.
probably below our, well, it is below our deductible, I'm sure our deductible's up there.
Why don't we wait? Why don't we wait and see, because he had said something about, he has some other issues at his house, he was gonna try to make a claim on that and see if he couldn't get that covered underneath his own insurance. In the meantime, we can kind of say that we're still looking into it with the zoning part of it, so why don't we hold off till a workshop, put it on a workshop meeting so we don't forget about it.
Fireplace request for September 17th.
Second.
Motion a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
NAB Memorial Tree Suggestion.
I have not heard back yet, but keep it on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Rescue funds, resolution 2242, supplemental appropriations.
So I do this, after, well, you have the checks on your bill list, but I'd like to do the resolution so that when we have to do the reporting to the government, I have record of what we use the rescue funds for, so I noted what the bills were for, and so just need to do the resolution.
Motion for 2022-42.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
EMS funding request.
I haven't received an updated when their meeting was gonna be, so we'll keep it on there.
Police Department, Core 327, municipal bid results.
Met the reserve.
The reserve was met as of 4 o'clock today. It came in at $20,200. So like a motion to approve that sale of that car. And I guess part of the motion would be who is going to want to sign the documents for the sale.
Make a motion, we sell it for $20,200 and have the chief sign it?
Now, where are those funds gonna be
I was gonna ask for those funds to be put into the accrual account towards future vehicle costs.
Yep.
So we need a motion for that. I'll make a motion to put it in the accrual account.
Okay, well, let's finish your motion first. So he approved the 20,200 with chief signing off on it. So Joe, you'll have the letter saying he has the authority to sign it, then you bring the type on the letter to a notary. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then Paulie wants to make a motion.
Put it in the
That's in the
equipment fund, I guess, whatever.
vehicle
Yeah,
fund.
vehicle fund.
Second, motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Land development plans update. Morgantown affiliates land development plan update. Anything on it? Wexford court status.
Your engineer gave you a brief update of his report.
So nothing to be done.
No.
Anyone have questions?
Where do we stand at with that? I mean, citing them, what?
Well, there's, I guess, progress. I mean, Scott has been after the structural engineer for Wexford to inspect that rock wall, and he did, and he submitted a report. So Scott is reviewing that report, he's going to issue a review letter. That structural engineer has identified some things that need to be done. So that's what's happened. So something has happened since last month.
Wasn't there lighting and stuff issues there too or something else? So,
Lighting's in wrong order, and I don't know that I've heard back from Scott whether they've been installed or not. He has been cited, he has been held to default, you've done all the good that you need to.
Stormwater driveway non-compliance, 371 Swamp Road, anything?
We're waiting for an estimate from Scott on the cost to repair. You guys can then authorize.
Eric, I can barely hear you. I can barely hear you. That's okay.
You guys can then authorize that work, so I think Scott just is preparing an estimate.
Okay, 83 Hertzler Drive.
On that one, I understand that there has been some progress made, slow progress, but progress toward abating the violation. So our office has been in communication with Mr. Miller, photographs have been taken by Terry, I think the chief has been out there talking today. So slow progress, slower than what we would like, but progress.
Stormwater drainage updates, 91 Rock Bridge, consider alternative stormwater discharge solution.
Your engineer gave you a brief update in his written report on that area as well. I think it's still in conversations with Mr. Metz on that solution.
Mountain View HOA drainage.
Mountain View
That's been addressed.
That's
Okay.
resolved.
Okay, we can remove that from here.
Please.
Okay. Thousand Oaks Bridge inspection report. Anything on that? Nothing. Street obstructions and overhanging trees and shrubs, sample ordinance.
Well, the Thousand Oaks thing, I'll say, I think Scott's planning to do the work within a couple of weeks, right?
Correct.
I think the New Morgan Borough Authority is finally approved what they're going to do work-wise. And I think that's as of like 5 p.m. this afternoon, their engineer responded to approval. It's a very late breaking. So I think they're moving forward in the next couple of weeks to repair that bridge.
And what is our job there? What are you guys doing there?
I guess we're performing the repair. We're gonna open that up and remove the current fill, the remaining fill, and configure a plan to secure that wall, secure the wall, and then refill around the pipe, and then repair the blacktop. Satisfy the bridge inspector.
Did Scott come up with a plan on that or what?
It's very difficult, you're pretty much gonna have to open it up and see what
Right,
you're
right.
dealing with and then react to what you're working with.
street obstructions and overhanging trees and shrubs, sample
That's-
ordinance.
That's the ordinance that I supplied from York County that was really for the board to sit and digest. It just covered trees, dead trees, basketball courts, dumpsters, sort of things that were placed on the street. There's some good ideas in there.
Did we put that sample in the book, or did you not put it in the book? You don't put the ones we're working on?
Yeah, we would pretty much have to, I mean, if you come up with a draft.
Okay, then it'll go in pending. Park rules, draft ordinance.
This one, I just sent you copies of the minutes that gave suggestions for the ordinance, so there's a
Okay.
draft ordinance for that in your books.
Okay,
So
that's in their, is that on their list or in their minutes?
I think now it's just in the minutes,
Okay.
so I highlighted it.
Alright, so we'll review the draft ordinance.
And maybe incorporate some of their
Yeah.
suggestions.
Village library security measures.
That's me. Let me come put this a little closer. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Ann Bohara, and I am the relatively very new president of the Village Library Board. And thank you, Joan, for asking us to be on the agenda and making time for us. Really appreciate it. Can I introduce Cindy Line, who is our vice president, and I think you know Kate, most of you. Yes, Kate is the on the board, a board member, and she's the head of our Friends Committee, and she's here to talk about the Rockville Library. In terms of the security proposal, we asked for some time on the agenda simply to let this board, the township, know that we are looking very seriously at an upgrade to security in the library building. We have a safety emergency plan that we're doing in conjunction with the Berks County Library System. We've installed, I guess you call it a panic button, an emergency button that dispatches, I believe, to the Carnarvon Police Department. We've done that at the desk. Maria, our director, is currently outfitting the sole closet in the building to have part of it a safety room, a safe room that'll have water in it and some food and other supplies. And hopefully it'll never be needed, but it is something that the safety emergency plans that we've been looked at as models have asked for. We are increasingly concerned for some local reasons, but also simply because of the current climate and some of the current issues that have been in schools and even other libraries now in the work system. We've had a couple of incidents in June and May and June, of people coming in being very inappropriate and rude with staff, mainly about wanting to pull books from the shelves. And we have certainly policies in place. We have that we do not do that. We have some strong policies about kids and parents and how they use the library and how parents can help their kids use the library. But we've had a couple of incidents and staff has dealt with it politely. There have been no serious outcomes to date. But it turns out that it is a problem across the Berks library system. And almost, well, about other half of the libraries in the current county system have had similar issues over the past 2 or 3 months. So that's simply hard for our staff, and you can imagine it concerns the board. The safety for our users, our members, and our staff is absolutely primary. What we would like this board to know is that we are currently working on a proposal for some kind of camera system. We have, if you've not been to the library, you may not know this, but if you have, you would know that there are 2 rooms that are used for the community. One room is the community room, and it's used for meetings, it's used for Pinochle Club, it's used for adult meetings, all sorts of activities. And then we have a really nice children's room that's just been upgraded. Neither of those have you have no view from the desk. There's no view for staff into those rooms. We have not had a problem recently with either of those rooms, so nothing to report there, thank goodness. But what we do is just leave the doors open, and they're full doors like this. We still cannot see into those rooms. So there is a concern, particularly with the children's room, that we cannot see what's happening there without actually being in the room. Children are not supposed to be using that room without parents there too. So there's supposed to be some degree of supervision. It's not always, that's all, we can't guarantee that. The parents have to help with that too. But we'd like to have some visibility to both of those spaces. The other space that we are concerned about is the main entry. Again, there's no visibility from the desk to the main entrance. When you come in the main entrance, there's a cubbyhole kind of situation on the left-hand side where there are books, there are not library books, but books for exchange and some tapes and things like that. On the other side, there's the bathrooms, which we did get new locks in. I think that's thanks to you, Keith. There are 2 bathrooms. So, and those we have locks, which we didn't have the right kind of locks before. So that's more secure. But there's no way for the staff to see who's coming into the building. The last part is just that parking lot, which is lighted, but it is very, very dark in the winter time, from anywhere from October on, yeah. And so when you're leaving the building at 6 o'clock, it's almost pitch black out there. We had one contractor come in just as a kind of ballpark and look at the situation, but what we were hoping from the township is 2 things. One is if there is advice that the police department might have to offer, or the township around what should we be doing for security. These are blind spots we've identified, but if there's expertise within the board here, or within the police department, or the fire department, or if you've used a contractor for security that you know and you trust, we would very much like to know that and be able to piggyback on your expertise, because we are not experts in
There
this.
are those screens that you can see in each room, and there's like 6 pictures that you can see at certain periods of time.
Right, and we've seen some of that,
Yeah.
but again, if there's expertise, rather, I mean, we can get online and look at contractors, but then we'd be coming back to the board for our second question, which is, can you help us, partner with us to pay for that system? And so I don't know, I'm not asking that tonight because I don't even know how much it'll cost. So trying first to partner with you. Is there expertise? Is there someone or some group that you know of? And if you don't know off the top of your head, Keith, you might know. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking,
Okay.
Vector.
I mean, we can give you the name.
Yes.
We use Vector.
Okay.
So Joe can send his contact information over.
That would be terrific, Joe. Yeah, and we'll use them. That's really helpful. Thank you. And that's about it for now for the security.
And I'll stop back over. We could have talked about this yesterday while I was there hanging out.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to stop back
Well, that
over.
would be
We
great.
can look at.
That would be great. Yeah, and I can be there too. I don't.
Well, I'll set it up ahead of time so that I just don't
Yeah.
show up and
Great.
set up a date and time.
Great,
and stuff like
thank
that.
you. Yeah, we try not to have. There's always 2 people on staff at a time, but sometimes, once in a while, somebody gets a call. They have to go home. They get sick. And then what we do is close the library because we cannot have just one person there. It's not viable for them. So, all right, well, thank you, and I'll be back in a little bit and with my colleagues here to talk about the library report.
Are there grants available for stuff like this?
We are looking into that as well. Yeah, we got a couple of grants, particularly for children's programming, and I was going to talk about that a little bit later. But that's an excellent question, and yes, we are looking into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entertain a price. We can entertain a price, so we gotta meet with them.
Yeah. I have no idea.
I was gonna say, shame didn't talk to that person that was there yesterday. Might have been able to get a grant through her.
Yeah.
Towards means they wanted to use the room.
Because they were there for the town meeting. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You never know.
Yeah, and I wanted to be there for that. I know we had some members of the board.
It wasn't advertised very much. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, and my understanding is that the Congresswoman's team called the library and said, you have a meeting room, we'd like to use it for a town hall, and they will take care of all the advertising, because we're nonpartisan, right? We're non-political, so And although she is a sitting congresswoman, we don't want to be advertising. So her team was to advertise, was supposed to take care of that. I'm sorry you didn't know about it, Mr. Whitman. Yeah.
Well, it's all right.
Yeah.
If she's coming to
I
town,
just found out
to
about
have
it
a
on
town
Thursday.
meeting, she should have had the town involved, you know? That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think it should have been more widely publicized, but not
I
our.
was pretty full.
Well, the chief said something to me about it, and then I asked my wife to go online with you guys, and it said that 3 people looked at your thing on the email and only 1 coming.
Wow.
I guess you had, what, 90 people or something like that, somebody said?
I know that from talking to her staff, they had 116 RSVP.
Yeah, they didn't have
Close to
100.
90 showed up.
Yeah, and because that room only has a capacity of 100, so I'm glad 116 people did not show up.
Me too.
We would have been out of compliance. Yeah. Okay. If we entertain, I will tell you now on the same vein that the Berks County Commissioners are coming to do a town hall in September, I believe, or October. And it's on our calendar, which is online. But I can happily check that date and I'll email it to you, Joan, so this board will have all that information. Okay. And again, we don't invite them. They call us and say, can we use the room? Okay.
Is that open to everybody?
It's open to
Or just
for elected officials. So if this board wanted to do a meeting there,
I couldn't go.
you can, but you would rent it. We have private rental fees, which are pretty low. I understand.
It's a public meeting. That's just asking if it was a public meeting.
Right, a
Yes.
public meeting
Yes.
of, public meetings, if it's available, it's not being used in library hours particularly. Yes, please. That we'd love to have more people come to the library. Absolutely.
Okay, is there anything else?
That's it for the security measures. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Complaint form received July 11th, 2022, 91 Broad X Gas. Is that the one at the end of the road that
My neighbor.
Oh, okay. So,
Yes, I'm proposing that you install a swale to capture the water that is coming down the road. My property continues to flood. The swale, it seems like it would be cost effective. Run from Keith's driveway to mine, and then a grate across the driveway. And then there's an existing swale and culvert between my property and my neighbor's. The swale could run right into that one and it would divert all that water.
now there's a shed there, correct?
The shed has nothing to do
So
with.
no water's going through the shed, it didn't divert anything? Anyone go
No,
through?
there's 2 feet of stone under that shed. No, everything is coming around. The cul-de-sac on both sides now, coming down the driveway. And this only began after the road was partially resurfaced. So do you have some kind of a document that from whoever did the resurface that states pitch of the road or any kind of details like that?
How long ago was that redone?
It's been a while, but it would be the original paving of the road and the resurfacing.
But all it was an overlay, right? So all he did was add to what was there. He changed no, I'm talking, he didn't change, it was just an overlay, right?
No, we ground the entire road up and under engineer Whitman's direction. And an outside contractor was hired to grade after we and compact after we metal.
Is the drainage pipe that we put in just last year, is that working, not working?
It's carrying water.
Not all, it isn't from my property.
I understand
understand your concern, I'm not arguing with you one bit, I just think
I
that
understand.
some stuff like in this situation, I mean, I think you need to maintain your swales around your house too, because I've been there and I've watched the water puddle in front of your garage. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, it's coming down the road
And
to my
we
driveway.
like I said, we just put a pipe and a drain in there last year to try to stop that.
It isn't working.
I have not been up there in the rain recently, so I'll have to go back up and take a look at it. Keith, I mean, any suggestions on your part?
I do not.
I mean, Fritz, you're a neighbor, what do you see?
I see a lot of water, but I believe we're doing the best at this point that we can to catch it. I do agree with her to some extent that if we had put, where we put the pipe across, if we had put a grading system in there, it would have caught a lot more of the, but I don't even know if that's available to be done. Had we done that initially, I don't know whether that type of a situation is available. A lot of water does come down the hill that does not make it into the swale, but that's a common problem throughout Mountaineer Village.
Well, I mean, I walked from Castle's house all the way down behind your house and behind your house. I walked all the way down to Shiloh Road. And there's a lot of groundwater that travels in between the houses. Like even between your house and her house, a lot of water travels.
Right. I'm not arguing with you, Paulie. I'm just saying that there is a lot of water that does not make it into the swales. And Keith and I have talked about it, and I'm not sure. And if you look at Castle's Road, there's next to nothing on that road as far as pitch goes. So that's just one of the roads that Keith and I have talked about. But it's pretty much that way throughout the village as far as the water not making it into the swales the way it should. And that's simply because of the layout, as far as I can see. And as far as between Ann's house and my house, there's always water going down around the service electric and the electric service box to the point that some of that's washed out.
And I think that's why we chose to put that box where we put it to try to catch that.
Right.
And we were still restricted on what we could do because of those utilities that are right there.
Yes, but they're right there. Well, maybe we'll just have to take Scott up there during a rainstorm. If we can, get him up there and see, come up with some suggestions. I mean, I'm at a loss. I don't know.
Okay, so it's not rain. See if we move Scott.
And we'll keep you updated of what we find out. I mean, I don't know what.
Can I be notified when you're going to be there? Or someone will be there, Scott or someone?
I mean, do you have her information? I mean, can you let Joan know to contact her to find out what works for everybody?
I can notify we're gonna be out there, we're gonna work during a downpour or immediately thereafter. I kinda gotta be there when it's happening.
You gotta get a couple people scheduled together here.
Okay, so we can work on that.
We'll be updated then when they come up with something.
Thank you. Morgantown sign installation update, anything?
Is this the same sign we were talking about a year and a half ago?
Keith, anything on that?
It's going up this week.
Okay. Township building roof repairs needed. Anything we need to do?
I don't know that that needs to be on as a recurring thing. It was more information for the board that this building is gonna require a large expensive repair in the near future.
Yeah, and we already said we're gonna start budgeting some money aside, so I think
that's
we
more,
don't have to add that to it.
We have a budget list
Yes.
we started, so that'll go on the budget list.
Right, and Keith Fritz was visiting last week when it rained, and it's only when it's a downpour, it was dripping, and so he was concerned in the corner. So, he was
Then we
thinking.
just have it fixed.
Well, he was thinking that something did get done recently.
We award, I don't wanna say awarded, I hired Redwell Roofing to come in and try to patch that roof. And I've reached out twice to him about trying to get a date when he's coming, and I get the same thing. I'm just very busy, and he wasn't, I'll use the word first choice, but he was the one that responded and come out and looked at it. And I'm gonna give him another week or two and see whether he gets here, and if he don't, I'll continue to look for somebody else.
So we'll pull this off the agenda, we'll put it over on the budget. Administrative assistant.
And excuse me,
yes.
Another thing to remember is that you also have the building fund account, and currently that has $405,000 in it. So for any kind of emergency repairs or anything like that, I would think that you should be able to use by resolution. I just did this with another one of my townships the other day with unreserved funds. If by resolution you can use any unreserved funds for instead of having to do a revised budget. So keep that in mind. You have the building fund that you can use.
Okay. All right. Administrative assistant position update. Are we gonna have an executive for that, or?
I guess we should, right?
Yeah, we want to do that at the end?
Yeah.
Will we have anything else for executive? No? Okay, so we'll push that to the end. Administrator's report.
Okay.
Carnival update.
Still waiting on the invoices to come in. I touched base with Hollywood Casino. They never submitted a check, so that should be in within the next, I think they said week or two. So look for that. Once I get these invoices and the checks and stuff, and we can finalize everything.
Maintenance department.
I don't have anything other than, number 2 is stuff that goes under the no parking ordinance that Paul and I have been working on.
Still working on, right? Okay. SEO. Library.
Yes, I can report the monthly report from the library, which is that it's going great guns. We're in post-COVID, fully open mode. We have a lot of activities for kids in the summer that are signed up for. The summer reading program has to do with playing on the beach, and I don't even remember the tagline. What's the tagline, guys? Do you remember? At the beach or at the seashore. We've got hermit crabs going to be named and raffled off, and kids are getting tickets for the numbers of books that they read. And this is in conjunction with Twin Valley school system. So there's a lot of kids in the library these days, a lot of moms. There's 3 activities scheduled during the week, just really scheduled hour and a half activities, one for babies and moms, one for the story time, and one meet the authors, where particular authors are featured. And Pam, our children's librarian, does all that. So a lot of good feedback from that. We seem to have more moms and babies, and I don't know how the demographics of the township are changing, but I don't know if that says anything or not, but it's really cool to see people and kids using the library. Our circulation numbers were up for the month, and our new cards are up, our new users. So we're really happy to see that. What else? We did get a grant from the United Way, their Ready, Set, Read program, which is again for children, and that is going to be used to bring in the Science Tellers, which is a STEM program for kids age kindergarten through grade school and into middle school. That will be in the fall. So we are trying to be very active in getting grants, particularly right now for programming, because there are more grants, I think, out there for programming than there are for any kind of investment in the physical plant. But we're looking into that too, like I said, for the security. We have new adult programming. We have a Tea of the Month Club, which is a book and a different tea every month that goes with it, which is kind of cool. And we're trying to do some outreach right now to current members of the library, current users, as well as in different ways to the larger community here in Carnarvon and also in New Morgan. What we're trying to do is find out what people want. You know, what our families want, what our community wants, what would be helpful in terms of resources. resources or programming. We're going to be doing that in a very systematic way. If I can speak for a moment, the new board has two goals at the moment, and one is just to get our financial footing more secure, and to try to get a buffer in there so we're able to understand and basically bring more resources in as our user base grows. Right now and for a while, especially through COVID, the library's been really going month to month, and what we'd like to do is to have more security in the funding, basically. And the second thing is to improve the physical plant of the library. Those are immediate kind of goals in front of the board. Doing them, implementing them, getting to them won't be immediate, but that's what we're trying to work on. And the programming is really up to our director and her librarians, who have been there a long time and know a lot about that. Any questions about the monthly report? The numbers, I believe, have been sent to you. If they haven't, Joan, I'll make sure that Maria's report comes in.
Yes, they have it.
All right,
Yep.
thank you, thank
Sure.
you. But we're excited, and if we could talk about, can we talk about Rock the Library before we talk about the garden space? Turn it over to
Really, really quick. July 30th, it will be an outdoor event from 9 to 12. We will have like a paint a rock station for kids for a $5 donation. Iron Mountain, who is doing some of the cleanup at the library, is donating the rocks to paint. So $5 rock, anyone can paint a rock. We're working on a to-go program for it in case anyone can't stay.
You guys have need rocks, right?
Or
we have any rocks with us?
No. So we'll do a to-go rock for anyone who can't attend. They give a donation, we'll give them rocks to paint and bring back. But it's basically to put in the outdoor garden that, the rock garden that that's part of our plan.
Right.
And we'll have face painting, story time. Pete at the fire department is bringing a truck for Touch a Truck. There have been press releases about it. It has circulated through Berks County, and Chester County has a really good interest right now. And I will ask if possible, if the yard, I don't know if that's you, Pete, just if it's mowed, because we will have some yard games for the kids. But if the press is there, we would like to make it look nice for the township.
Can we advertise for them on our sign?
Excuse me?
That would be great if you could.
I mean, it's part of the township.
I mean, it's going through social media. The press releases are coming up in Daily Local News, the Reading Eagle, a lot of local sites, Chester County sites, a lot of mom sites, a lot of library sites. So we're hoping for a good turnout. But yeah, if you can advertise for that, that would be great.
Just relay the information to Joan, so Joan knows what to advertise.
You have a flyer, right?
Yes.
So just put the dates and stuff on there and just put it in the link.
But I mean,
I can send
you
that,
can
and I'll-
advertise that on our Facebook or our website, I mean, too,
I
to
can
piggyback off that to try to
Yeah,
help.
Joan, I
them.
can send that I can send everything to you.
Yeah, I can
It's
post
that,
those.
but we'll have some updates on it, as things kind of came together. All donations will go directly to the library, and, Old House Bakery will be there selling pretzels. They're splitting the proceeds with us, so that's the only one that's not 100% directly to the library, but, she's willing to split with us. It is sponsored by the Library Friends Group, which recently formed, so a lot more events will be coming.
You guys need to get involved in the carnival next year.
Yes, that would be great. We were looking at it this year, the board had just formed, so it was a little too soon to jump in.
And the Kate and another member of our board, Lauren, Nappy, yeah, they are the head of the Friends Group, and they're getting more, I think, more young families involved, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's really cool, because they'll do a book sale, which will all help within the fall, probably September, October. And it's nice to see that kind of energy. It really is, for me, it's really cool. So, yeah, so that is our Friends Group.
Okay, and then the outside garden plan?
The outside garden plan, right now we have that in hiatus because I may have the wrong information here, but the last, I think, My last understanding was that the area that we had chosen, which was where the tree is and right in front of the, if you're looking at the library, it's on the right-hand side, that there are issues with utility lines, there's a number of reasons that we hadn't counted before, why that's not suitable. So that just kind of set us into like, oh, okay, well, we need to go back to the drawing board.
Okay.
And in the meantime, what we're doing is, and thanks to Keith and his crew, they have helped us clear, well, you've done it, you haven't helped us, we haven't helped you do it. They've cleared weeds and they've cleared, yes, thank you. They've cleared the area so we can do this rock garden and do some more sustainable, and I would probably say xeriscaping with these rocks, some more sustainable, easier to take care of landscaping. Because the front of the library doesn't look good right now, and we want it to look a lot better, and this will help. Okay?
Okay, all right. Tax collector. Police department?
Yeah, the monthly activity report, 660 calls and service, total 158 citations, warnings, and parking tickets. That's all broken down. They're not all citations. It was actually 58 warnings, 85 citations, 6 parking tickets. During the course of the month, there was 19 criminal arrests, over 8,000 miles patrolled, several incidents of criminal mischief, retail thefts, assault. Some of our local, one of the things we have had, and we've talked about it on social media, is we're trying to remind the parents that they are responsible for their minor children. There is a curfew. We've had some issues in the Penwood development with kids going out in the middle of the night causing havoc. Parents can be cited if they continue to allow their child to be out. We don't want to do that. We'd rather have the child home and off the street and no vandalism. So we continue. We've had the bike patrol out a couple of nights here and there. Also, Officer Crest completed the bike training and also active shooter training during the month of June. We're still waiting to hear from the Berks County Juvenile Probation reference to the Youth Aid panel training.
Yes.
I'm hoping to host that for 2023 at this point in time here in the southern end. So we still continue to refer a lot of juveniles to that opposed to taking them to the court system, trying to give them a second chance. But right now we have parents that are involved have to travel up to Shillington, and we'd rather try and see something local. So I requested that months ago, and I have a couple volunteers already ready for the training.
Any issues at the casino, major issues?
During the month, we had one person who was under the influence and decided to use the outside of the building as the bathroom. He was cited, not a local resident. A couple minor parking, backing into each other, minor stuff like that. No significant incidents.
When you say cited, does that mean they're fined or just?
They get it. What happens is they're issued a citation, and they can take the citation and go before the judge. Judge would set a fine and court cost. The person can then say, I'm guilty and I'm going to pay the fine and court cost, or they can have a hearing before the judge, and then the officer would, along with the security, would testify what took place and show the evidence, which is the security camera system of the person going to the bathroom outside, instead of opposed to using the inside, and then the judge would either find guilty or not guilty. Okay. So, and that person was an adult, non-resident. So that's it.
All right, zoning code enforcement. Monthly report. Anything, did he give you anything to report, Eric? Morgantown Garage parking lot update? Did anyone say anything? Okay. EMS. Fire department?
Did we donate money to them yet? The fire, did they want money?
Fire department? Yeah, we released that.
We did last month when I wasn't here.
I think it did show last month, yeah.
Can you tell me what it was, or you don't know?
I'd have to look back through, it's in the, budget for last year.
It increased from last year because they were.
130 and change.
130, and did everybody do that, all the townships?
I don't know, we have to check the report of the fire company and see what they got in. They don't.
Yeah, we don't have that information.
Okay, July 19th meeting. Okay. Park and Recreation, you have your minutes there. You have your request list for Park and Rec. So can we pull the MAA contract and put that on the agenda for anything, so we can look over what they're requesting versus what's already there? I mean, it's already on there that they're supposed to clean up after every game and empty the trash, right? It's a matter of enforcement, not changing the contract.
On this request list up here, the Frank Payne one, is that on the, can we add that to the bill list?
Did we get the receipts? Yes,
He has the receipt, I know he does, but I told him that it had to be approved before they even, he can't just go and do stuff and hand in a receipt and just expect to get paid. So it ran through the Park and Rec, that was the plaque for the door, with the names of all the people that donated for the stage. So he made it an aluminum backing plate, so that's what those expenses are, so.
So did Park and Rec turn the receipt in with their saying they approved it?
Their minutes reflect that they approved it and
Well, it
said.
says reimbursement request from Frank Payne, so I don't know if they,
Right, so-
I don't know if he did or not. I know he tried to give it to me back when Carnival was going on, and I said, listen, run it through Park and Rec, it's on the stage.
Yes, that they should be turning that receipt into us so we can get it paid.
Yeah, it's in their minutes, under F, motion
Okay,
was
so-
made to approve it. Frank Payne to provide the receipts to the township, so their minutes, they approved it.
Okay, so now we need the receipt so we can pay them. All right. Stage lattice, what, if there's a different lattice going on the top of the stage, the committee asked the lattice around the bottom of the stage match this.
It's the same, but it was stained, so it's a different color.
Doesn't matter, I mean, if that's something you want to address.
We
Okay,
were-
so,
We had discussed putting lattice, bird netting and lattice work in the ceiling to support
Bird
the
control.
bird netting.
oh, is that what they're talking about?
I'm assuming, because I had
Is it
part
going
of
on
this
top of the
conversation.
stage? Okay, so how do we want to reply to this? I mean, we need to know which are they talking about the stuff going in the ceiling, or is there, did you already put the lattice on the top? No. But we
No.
have it?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
we didn't come up with a decision yet, but
Okay.
we're getting birds nesting up in the eaves, so Keith come up with a couple different ideas. We just never really decided upon anything for sure. And we were gonna try to do it before the carnival, but when we realized how involved this would have been, it was like we held off and we do it later, so.
And just that black netting won't
I
work?
have bought a roll of the black netting, it's just a matter of it's not gonna look nice, and just trying to find some way to support it.
So he
They're
had
on
one
24
idea
inch for
for
48
lattice.
cents, so I was gonna use plastic lattice.
Okay,
and told-
all right.
It was an idea at this point, but there's always been talk of putting something different around the bottom.
Okay. And then permission to host a food truck festival September 24th, hours 11 to 7 at the carnival grounds. We'd like to hire 2 bands for the day's event at approximate cost of $3,500. There would be no charge for the food trucks to participate. We would require them to have the appropriate insurance and any other documents you require. So they brought this up before, and we told them to get back to us with information. I mean, so a food truck festival, I mean, is it for them to make money? Is it, or they just wanna just have it to have it, or does anybody get any information from them?
I don't know the details of it. I
What
know they talked
information?
about doing it at the carnival, about doing something later on in the season, but I don't know the details of it.
What more information do you want, so we can get back and say, here's what we want before we can, or how do you want to handle this?
I mean, I don't know if it's set up kinda how we do the carnival, where we kind of rent a spot to the food trucks, or if it's,
No,
I don't know
there's
how
no
that
charge
works.
for the food trucks.
So I have no idea, I don't know.
Do you want them to bring forth more information? I mean, I don't know what to do with this.
I mean, I'm okay with doing the food truck thing, I mean, we just work out the details on that, I think, budget wise.
Where would the money come from, the $3,500?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't finalized everything with the carnival yet. We still have.
I think we need more information.
We still have the 6,000 from the 250th committee, but we're gonna use that for signs, so
Any specific information you want them to?
Well, we need to know where the money's coming from and exactly what they're planning on doing.
Are they taking in money from anything? Is there any stuff like that?
well, and this is the thing with Park and Rec, is that we tell them at the beginning of the year to give us a budget of stuff they're looking for, so when they don't come back with anything, they could easily say, hey, we want $5,000 toward events like this, we'd at least have it budgeted, but we don't have that budgeted, you know what I mean?
I don't have a problem going, but it's.
Right, just,
have a plan.
I don't know what it is, you know, what the plan is or what.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I'll email them back.
I mean, I'm okay with having that something, I mean, we have the grounds
Right.
over there, use it,
Yeah,
let's
let's
do it.
do it, yeah.
You know,
Okay, and that's what I'm
just
asking
work out
for.
the details.
Get us more details. Okay. Has MAA been notified to remove signage, trash cans, hoses, exterior? Once again, put that contract on there so we can see it's in the contract that they're supposed to do that.
Yeah, that split rail fence is pretty bad shape too. That on them too?
That belongs to the MAA.
Yeah, I mean, it's just completely rotted.
I agree.
Okay, and then do we have an action plan or development from the park inspection needs? Especially the area where the batting cage was located, as there's a deep rut and runoff. What's up with the batting cages? I mean, who maintains that? I thought they took care of the field.
I had got them free Dynatex for the field and it had rocks in it, so they put these batting cages in, what they call batting cages, but now all it did was it bound the water up and it directed it right down to the carnival grounds. So now if you come into Clyde Smith's side of behind the stage there, the mud just runs right across the walking path there to the 6 inches deep. So we've told MAA about it numerous times, and they're trying to come up with a solution with Keith. I don't think we've ever.
So that one's, we're working on it.
But that should be done with MAA needs to come up with because they're the ones that put the dirt there.
Update on the recommendations for MAA agreement. So then they have on here about them painting the buildings. I think we discussed that should be our job, painting the buildings. I mean, it's our building.
I think that
I don't know if we want to painting the building, but I mean, for discussion, maybe it's on the list here. So we'll put the contract on, we'll go over all that then. And then.
I think we need to have a meeting with everybody because right now MAA has one team, I think this year. Is it one team?
That was the story. I can't.
Yeah, so it seems like Twin Valley Little League is doing more than MAA, so I think.
Twin Valley Little League is Honeybrook, it's the Legion.
Twin Valley Legion, whatever.
They're just different, and you'll ruffle feathers if you confuse them.
Yeah, it's Ryan Rhodes, right?
Ryan Rhodes, and he and I are working on splitting the batting cages and doing all that into individual little portions of that project so that people could bid on it or volunteer to do some of it or stuff like that.
We want the fields used. We just want the people to follow by the contract and take care of the stuff. You agree? I mean, MAA has done it for many, many years, but they don't really do any upkeep. They do the bare minimum, but we never really gave them a hard time about it because they provide stuff for our kids at a discounted rate. They've always done that for the kids. But, you know, the buildings are getting dilapidated, the property looks like crap. I mean, I think they need to start stepping up, and if Twin Valley's willing to do that, then maybe we need to renegotiate the contract with MAA and put Twin Valley in there.
I do know that last year there was a fact that was a one team and the Legion absorbed the kids that still wanted to play, that there wasn't enough kids for the Morgantown team. The Legion absorbed them into their ranks.
Well, if you can work on the stormwater issue with Ryan, I'll see if I can't set up a meeting with them that we can sit down and figure out what the heck's going on.
I've been after Ryan for this one since April.
Oh, I mean, it was Jay Oliver, then it was Ryan, then it's, then you got Kim, Reinert, whatever, so.
Okay, so follow up on the 250th anniversary budget. So they're looking to spend the money that was transferred over, I guess. But the sunshades for the tot locks, those were way out of price range. Banners, did you?
I haven't gotten the design yet, but.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I thought we were
waiting
gonna
on
kinda use
design.
some of that money to try to get some seasonal banners for town.
Yeah.
I thought that's kind of what, even what Jack said, I
So-
mean, I would touch base with Jack.
We're waiting, they were gonna get a design for you, right? They're gonna send something over for you to work with to get.
I think it's winter because of the heroes banners and then possibly carnival. Really, winter is the time for hanging.
And the one missing.
Yeah, well, I have the, hardware.
Is the
so
brackets coming?
The brackets are here. I just gotta get them all the service electric.
How appropriate saying your relative.
Not memorializing the 250th anniversary placed somewhere on the township property.
Do I have the right agenda? I haven't seen the last 5 items on my list. Is there a different agenda?
It's under Park and Rec. It's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
not
no,
broken
this
down.
is for us to work on.
Okay.
So, let's see, your notes are.
The packet's in the
stating you have a
back.
recommendation
It
on
has
what
their
the plaque should
request
look
list
like.
on it.
Are you indicating that we have the authority to hire someone to design a plaque? Well, no, I mean, I think we just want them to give us an idea of what they're looking for, we don't want them to go get a designer. They wanna put a 250th anniversary plaque somewhere. Do you think they need a designer to do that? They just need to let us know what size plaque they're looking for, what they want on the plaque? Do they just want 250th?
Why, I mean,
How
why
do you
don't,
want me to
why don't
respond
we
to
just
that?
kinda use the logo that they use for the shirts? I mean, it's like the Colonel Jacob Morgan estate with 250th anniversary on it, I mean, I don't know why we couldn't do something like that.
Okay, so we'll probably asking them if they're okay using the logo from the shirts, going on plaque.
Yeah.
And then we'll get a size from them, and then do you have any suggestions on where you'd wanna put that plaque for the 250th?
Why
I mean, on the
are we
column.
deciding this?
Well, I don't know, this is what they sent over, so we'll go over it and we'll discuss it.
Okay, we're going back in their court.
Okay. We'll send that back to them. And ask them where where they'd like to place it. Okay. As requested by the board, prioritize the list areas for maintenance. Draining the batting cage, safety issues at the playgrounds, repair block on first base dugout, fascia on first base dugout, loose bleachers at Clyde Smith Field. What legally is required for Park and Rec Committee to run a slow pitch league? Can fees be collected? Pay for the lights, t-shirts, and insurance. Is it possible to get insurance? So, can they run a slow pitch or Park and Rec? And collect fees?
They're already doing that, aren't they?
Park and Rec? They don't do it.
Well, no, MAA is already
Right.
doing a slow pitch softball over there, so anybody can have a team. So if they're asking if the Park and Rec can join that, I don't see a problem with that.
Okay, that's it on their list. Planning Commission meeting, Water Authority, Engineers Report. Anything additional to add to that area? To Scott's, or did we discuss it?
In the 160 Willow Glen driveway matter, he has a recommendation. At the end of his, report, I don't know if he makes that recommendation intending for the board to take action to approve it. I don't know if Keith knows.
That's a stormwater drain?
He says, my recommendation is for Public Works to repair the corner that is collapsed, order a custom cast in place inlet box, and remind the resident that they should not park in that area. So I don't know, Keith, if any board authority to order a cast in place inlet box.
We discussed that last time, right? We told them not to park there, or someone was gonna tell them.
We did, and then there was some concern from board members about paying a visit during a road inspection. The bottom line is, per the conversation with Scott today, if we're gonna make the repair, we'd like to get a approved Terry Hill box
and grate to replace the box, the existing box, to remove any liability we would have for workmanship or fire trucks, dump trucks, whatever we back.
Is that a 2x4 or is it a 2x2? What is it?
It's a homemade box.
But what's the dimensions? Is it?
I really, yeah, 2x2 would be a guess.
So it's a smaller box.
It's a smaller,
se.
it's gonna take something, I use the word custom in there. I worry, when Scott wanted me to fix it, I worry about a fire truck pulling up to it and the grate collapsing or the box giving way because I don't know anything about the structure of it.
How many pipes in it?
2.
One in, one out.
1 in and 1 out.
How big are the pipes?
I'm gonna say 15 and 18. It's not that it's obscure, it's just that it's macadamed in and it's gonna be, you know what it's like to set a box, you're gonna, with existing pipes, it's gonna be a big hole.
Is that something you feel you could do, or you gonna need to sub that out?
I would like to take a ride with you some night or afternoon and take some pictures and see what you feel as the roadmaster.
I'll do that. I'll figure that
Any
out.
decision on that then? We can go out and look at it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take a break for